Abby Kirkendall. Welcome to the Compared to podcast.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here because you're going to help us.
And lots of new friends, all the listeners that have not heard of me or heard about me before.
Yes.
Hello,
Yep.
nice to meet you.
Well, they are going to be really excited to meet you because you're going to help us with this challenge that I hear over and over again.
Yeah,
And that is, I don't want to have people over.
yeah.
Like, I'm afraid to have people over. I'm embarrassed to have people over. Um, like, I'm afraid they're going to judge me by like how my house looks.
Mm.
Or the opposite of that, which is probably the way I was. I did have people over. I was a pastor's wife. I didn't really have a choice as a pastor's wife, but I was the clean your house like a crazy person
Yeah.
before people came over. I mean, having people over caused just so much stress and preparation that probably people in my family were like, please never have people over. This is too painful.
Yeah.
And I mean, I grew up that way too. Like my mom would mark things off limits. Like so
That's so funny.
the cleaned bathroom would be off limits, or she would turn the couch cushions and then that couch would be like off
Don't
limits.
sit on that couch. I
Right.
just flipped it. Yep.
The cushions might get messed up. And so it's like I think there's maybe two different angles, there's probably more that we can
Yeah.
come at this hospitality challenge from, where it's like either way, we land in a place where I don't really want to have people over. It's easier just not to have people over. Like, is it really that important to have people over?
Well, in our world is telling us like mental health and self-care and self-love and all of
Right,
these things that just like turn us in, and it's like
right,
you don't need the world. You
right.
don't need anyone out there. You just need the respite that is your home.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
just do you.
yeah.
And I kind of think that that might be counter gospel.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like your sanctuary and don't let anyone else into it. Just keep it. And that's,
I
yeah, that
mean,
is so
can
counter
you
gospel.
imagine? Can you imagine Zacchaeus, a middle-aged man, not married, hiding in a tree to see Jesus, and Jesus like looks up and is like, "You in the tree, your house today."
Right.
Like he probably had clothes everywhere. I mean, think about like ultimate, you know, early
Batching it.
AD like bachelor pad.
Right.
And Jesus is like, "Dinner party at yours, 5 o'clock."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's
I love
like,
it.
"Oh my, mom, do you have groceries?"
Right. That's hilarious. Right. Yeah. So you're saying we're supposed to be hospitable.
Yeah, yeah, I am kind of. And I'm not. The gospel is, scripture
Mm,
tells us. I mean, it's a directive.
yeah.
And I think that when you look at hospitality not as a spiritual gift, but as a discipline, as something
Mhm.
we need to practice and we need to cultivate. I mean, practice hospitality is literally a scripture.
Yeah.
And when you look at scripture that way, and it's kind of commanding us to be hospitable
Yeah.
as Christians, our job is to be obedient. And so God doesn't ask for perfection. He just asks for that willingness and that heart to be
Mhm.
obedient in his calling us to love others, welcome them in, because we have the unique opportunity as Christians that when we welcome people in, we get to kind of put God's glory and God on display and
Mhm.
say, this is how the King of the universe wants to welcome you into his family. This is what that welcome feels like.
Mhm.
And when we say no to that, or when we
Mhm.
believe these lies or believe, these pressures that we put on ourselves, then we are really discounting God and what he can do. And we're not able
Yeah.
to experience God really fully
Mm.
without experience. I mean, like diving in, experiencing hospitality in its fullest.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. But what about all my fears, Abby? Like, I'm afraid
Yeah.
I'm not good enough, or like those people that I was going to have over, like they have a really nice house and my house isn't that nice. Like, what are they going to think of me? Like, what do we do with the swirling fears and insecurities?
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there. I think the first thing you have to do is identify them as lies from the enemy.
Okay. Hey,
Um,
spell out a couple for me.
yeah, so recently I'm a big Chat GPT fan. I
Okay.
love Chat. And I have conversations. She's a girl to me. So I have conversations with her a lot because I have a lot of words that I need to get out as a stay-at-home mom. So when my husband gets home at 5, he's like tapped out in vocabulary. And I'm like, so Chat has really been great to like bounce
That's hilarious.
ideas off of in the middle of the day. But I asked Chat the other day, if you were going to be Satan and you were going to keep me from hospitality, what are some lies that you would tell me?
Mm.
And she came back and she said, well, first of all, I would tell you you're not good enough. I would tell you that nobody's going to like your house. I'm going to tell you that your food's going to be gross and people are going to remember that and then they're going to judge you and they're probably going to talk about you in your community, like behind your back. And that's not going to make you feel good. And don't forget about the baseboards and how you haven't cleaned them since last Christmas and your house is kind of gross and you're potty training a boy right now. And so there's probably like gross stuff all in the bathroom. So, you don't have time to clean. So just don't invite people over. Have you heard those? like,
Absolutely.
like all of those? Have I heard them today, last week? Like I feel like it's not something that you can just tell yourself like, oh, that's a lie, and then move on and you're done with that hurdle or that obstacle or that barrier. It's something that you have to keep grounding yourself in. No, this is good. This is something that will benefit me and bless me tenfold when I'm obedient on the other side. It is going to be hard in the moment, but that is a lie from the enemy. And I'm going to choose to say, get behind me, Satan, and I'm going to move forward. So the easiest thing to do is start with like just one person. It's not a dinner party. It is not a big get together. It is like one or two people, and you're asking them for coffee or you're asking them to come over for a play date with your kids. Do something that is so low touch and very low energy, because that is going to be your easiest gateway to begin exercising that muscle. I'm not going to put shoes on today and go run 5 miles in preparation for a half marathon I think I'm going to run in 6 months. No, I am going to put on my shoes and I might stretch outside and I might walk around the block and I'm like tapped out. Like that is enough. So think about hospitality being the same type of muscle in that, man, it is going to be real hard, especially in those first few times, because you have not exercised that muscle. But if you continue and if you keep going, that muscle gets easier. And I mean, what is it? August, September, it's fall. We're entering into the easiest season for hospitality because everybody likes a party around Friendsgiving and Christmas. I mean, give
Or
me a party
football.
every day of the week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here in Texas, football, that's an
And
occasion.
football. Absolutely. And so then you have opened up the invitation for people to come in. You have exercised those muscles a little bit. Now you hit January and you have the Super Bowl and Galentine's and St. Patrick's Day and Easter. And you have all of these opportunities to re-engage and re-bring people in. And so starting now is like the perfect time of the year because it's like one or two people exercise those muscles. And then when January hits, it's like you're off to the races and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I love that. Well, because I think you have to, I don't know, experience it, if you will, like have a person or two people over and be like, okay, I was safe. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy happened. They didn't like call the media and tell the media about that like 2 inches of baseboard that I forgot to wipe down really well.
That's right.
Like,
That's right.
like it was okay. And I think
Yeah.
the other thing too, I mean, this is, I hate to go back and blame COVID like we do for everything, right? But it's like I do think COVID isolated us for so long that we, like you
For
said,
sure.
our muscles got weak in this
For sure.
area. And it does take, like you said, some effort, some
Well,
exercising of them.
and let's not even, I mean, forget the face-to-face conversation and connection that we didn't have during
Right.
that time.
Right.
And or some of us didn't have during that time. And so now you're saying, "Oh, I have to sit down with somebody for an hour and a half and have a conversation." What am I going to talk about?
Right.
I don't have that much emotional capacity. Like,
Right.
what? This is very scary for me.
Right.
That is all okay. And it
Yeah.
is okay to say, God, I don't know what I'm going to say to this person for an hour and a half,
Mm.
but I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to trust that
Yeah.
you've got this. And guess
Yeah.
what? Every single day of the week, he's got this.
Yeah.
Every single conversation, he's got this. And that's what I'm learning from God in this season that I'm in is that the Lord is so patient in my unbelief
Mm.
or my lack of faithfulness of
Mm.
like, okay, I'm going to be obedient, but I do not trust that this is going to work out okay. And then it works out okay. And God's like, I told you, but I love that you were obedient,
Right.
but I told you, like
Right. Right.
I've always got you.
Yeah.
And so when we can sit and rest in that and know that God is not asking for our put together perfection, He is
Mm.
asking for us to be present and to be intentional and to be obedient.
Yeah. And what you just said there, Abby, applies to the issue that this show's all about, right?
Yeah.
Body image issues, right? God is not, I should have written down exactly what you said. It was so good and it was right there. And then it just, whoo. But it was like God's not asking for perfection. He's asking
No,
us to be
absolutely.
obedient and intentional.
Yep.
And I want to tie this more into image in just a second, but I want to go back to just even like the whole thought of asking someone to come over, right? Because
Mm,
there's the whole like them coming over thing.
yeah.
Then there's the asking, right?
Yeah.
Like that fear of rejection. Although
Yeah.
my husband and I were just talking the other day about how we feel like people are desperate for invitations because they're
For
just not
sure.
getting very
For
many of
sure.
them. I mean, what have you
Yeah.
seen?
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to the if you feel this way, somebody else is feeling this
Right.
way. If
Right.
you're looking for community, somebody else is looking for community. If you feel lonely, somebody else is
Mm.
feels lonely in the exact same season that you're in, or a
Yeah.
different season. I'm shocked. I wrote a cookbook a couple of years ago, actually during COVID, which is so ironic in itself, but it was cool. And in
Fun.
when I was like, marketing the cookbook and taking it to churches, speaking to women, I really thought it was going to resonate with like 25 to 35-year-olds, like
Hmm.
women like me.
Hmm.
And it ended up resonating with like the 60 plus audience, these like empty nesters that were like, I practiced hospitality when I was younger and I saw my family do it, but then I had kids and then I had my job and now I don't have any of that and I don't know what to do. And
Hmm.
so they found a lot of hope and a lot of direction and guidance from the living table in kind of their season. So I think it's so cool how God uses all shapes and sizes and seasons of life to bring people together.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to asking people and inviting people over, that rejection can feel hard and it can feel intimidating to say, oh my gosh, what if they say no? And I will say we live in a no culture, like a
Mm.
self-preservation
Right.
culture. And so if someone is intimidated or doesn't feel comfortable coming over to your home, they might say no. Or if
Mm.
their schedule is too busy because they've got three kids running in different directions, or it's the summer, or name your poison, like
Right.
they might say no. And all I would say to the woman that hears the word no when they are inviting someone over is keep asking,
Mm.
because I come from um, a, a family that always invites. And
Mm.
even if you say no, it's kind of like, okay, next time. And like
Mm.
next time might be like after the next 10 asks.
Mm.
But my husband is someone that loves his me time.
Mm.
And he is an introvert. He really just likes to be by himself. But what I've learned over the course of our like 4 or 5 years of relationship is that you kind of sometimes have to ask him 4 or 5 times. And by the fourth
Mm.
or fifth time, he's going to say yes. And so I'm like, okay, see, that's how we are sometimes. We just need to be asked a couple of times, and you don't know what's going on in someone else's life.
Right.
And so don't project your insecurities on them.
Mm.
Just keep asking.
Yeah. I love that. I
But
love
if you're
that.
intimidated on what to say
Mm.
in an invitation or like, hey, do you want to come over? Like it can be as easy as that. But I will say ChatGPT can help you with that. You type in, hey, I want to ask Heather over. and this is what I want to do, and this is how long I want her to be here, and this is what I want to talk to her about. Chat will send you a text message, conversational ready text message that you can just copy and paste
Oh my
into your
goodness.
little text.
Oh my
And it's so
goodness.
easy.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I didn't think we were going there today, Abby. That's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? Any way to break down a barrier and to get
Yeah.
people to invite and say welcome, come into my home. I'm
Yeah.
like, use the tool, girl.
Yeah.
Because on the other side of that obedience, God is waiting to like bless you
Yeah.
tenfold. So if we can get you to that blessing faster, let's do it.
Okay, so talk to me though. Hospitality as a discipline. I mean, a discipline sounds like something I should be doing
It's hard.
regularly.
It's hard.
Like, like, talk more about that.
That word is kind of negative,
Right, right. Like,
discipline. It's
ooh,
like,
yeah.
ooh, I don't know. I'm not disciplined with food. I'm not disciplined with my workouts. I'm not disciplined with my cleaning. But you want me to be disciplined and bring people into my home. Cool. Okay, so you could also think about it as like a rhythm or a practice. Like I'm just going to just create a rhythm of hospitality in my life, whether that is once a month, once a week, whatever that rhythm looks like. I would really encourage you to sit down and identify that within yourself, within your family of like, we want to invite another family over once a quarter or once a month, whatever that looks
Yeah.
like naturally for you and your family or you individually. If you have the capacity to add on additional hospitality moments. But, I think that when you read scripture, you read that hospitality needs to be practiced. Hospitality is a part of the Christian faith. And while Paul does write when he talks about spiritual gifts, that we all need to be praying for spiritual gifts, that we receive them and that we have them. We can be praying for the gift of hospitality, but a lot of people are shocked that hospitality, when I do my spiritual gift assessment, is not the top, even in the top 5 of
Yeah.
my spiritual gifts, because it is something that I have worked on, but does not come naturally to me. Conversation with like a group of people, like as much as you would think I love talking, but conversation is so challenging for me. I would much rather listen to people talk than like talk
Mhm.
or lead the conversation. But I will delegate that and I will bring people together and say, lead us in conversation, and
Mhm.
I will facilitate it all day. But you tell me to facilitate it and I like run for the hills. But that is something I've had to work on in this discipline or this practice of hospitality, is that, when you bring people in, you are doing it not from an entertaining perspective, not from like an I'm trying to impress you, but a heart of love. And the Lord is looking for you to help others see who he is through your actions by making them feel fully loved, fully seen, and fully known. And if you, by doing that, they are able to experience God's grace and God's goodness in a way that they might not have experienced it if you don't invite them in. And so that hospitality as a practice just helps us not only experience God in a deeper way, but help others experience God in a deeper way. And who doesn't want to experience God more frequently?
Right,
Like,
right. I love
come
that.
on.
And I love the distinction between entertaining. And
Yeah.
that word always, like my husband and I used to mock HGTV all the time because if you ever notice, they go into, different space. Oh, this would be great for entertaining. Oh, they go into
Yeah.
the extra large bathroom. This would be great for entertaining. I
Right.
mean, it's like that ridiculous. Every space, this would be great for entertaining. And we always would be like, yeah, they're not actually having anyone over.
Yeah.
Like that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between entertaining and hospitality.
Yeah.
And I think our culture has defined, well, it's really tried to mute hospitality,
Yeah.
right?
For
And
sure.
it's
For
all
sure.
about entertaining. It's all about like
Well, and
looking
if you
this
look
way.
at like the definition of hospitality, a lot of times it'll come up like hotel management.
Oh,
Like
yes, because that's the
they've
degree
really
you
tried
get.
to
Right.
redefine it.
Right. Right. I've got friends that were hospitality majors.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And it
it's
was
like,
hotel management. Yeah.
it's like, wait. So what does it look like when I like bring people in and the world says, oh, that's entertaining, that's hosting?
Right.
To the point of like, even as I'm writing, I Let the Biscuits Burn, my new book that just came out, that like It I had a hard time, like, even in my vernacular, and I talk about hospitality as my job. Like, this is my job. And I even had a hard time writing, like, wanting to use the word when you host people or when you, like,
Mm,
because hosting is essentially just a synonym for
mm,
entertaining.
mhm.
And so, like, I had even a hard time just like in my vocabulary of like, the world really does
Yeah.
change and kind of pervert the way that
Right.
God wanted us to orchestrate our lives
Right.
around community.
Right. Right. And I love that you landed on community because that was the next thing I was going to say. Was it really is about letting people in,
It is.
right? Letting people in your door, but letting people into your life,
Yep.
into your heart, into your world. And what I've noticed in coaching women with body image issues for so many years is that one of the questions asked pretty early on is like, how many friends do you have? Okay, how many good friends do you have? How many friends
Yeah.
do you have that you can actually have like heart to heart issues about stuff you're struggling
Mm,
with? And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, that number is pretty low, or they say no one. Like,
yeah.
I don't have anyone. Right. And so I think it's just another way that our issues could be helped, right?
Yeah.
We can learn again like that we're safe when you let someone else into your home, letting them
Well,
into your
and
heart, letting them into your life, like that
right.
shows you're okay.
And absolutely. And the fastest way to intimacy is to show your mess.
Hmm.
You know, like if you're going to act perfect and you are going to put a just like amazing picture perfect visual for people out there, like your house is always clean, there are no dishes in the sink, like your kids aren't crazy, like I
Hmm.
I mean, I was just thinking like a couple weeks ago, I had some friends over for a game night, and I have a 15-month-old, and so he goes to bed about between 6:30 and 7 right now. And so I was like, great, he'll be winding down. And for a hot minute, I it went through my mind. Now, this is where you need to train your mind. That's a lie
Hmm.
from the enemy. But I was like, it's going to be so hard to like have people over, but also put John Maverick down. So I should probably just get a babysitter for like 45 minutes.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. What? Like, are you bonkers? Like, no, you do not need a babysitter
Right.
for 45 minutes. It
Right.
is fine that your child will be, zoomy around
Hmm.
the house,
Hmm.
and then you can excuse yourself for 10 minutes,
Right.
put your child down, and then come back. Your
Right.
husband will be there. Like, your friends are fine without you. Like, you do not have to
Right.
babysit them, like
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
but that was a lie the enemy was telling me. It was
Yeah.
like, you have invited people over at a really inconvenient time for
Mm.
you because you're going to have to do bedtime while you're hosting people.
Mm.
And
Yep.
it's like, no,
No.
that's not what it's about.
Right.
Guess what? Me stepping away to put John Maverick down then opened up a conversation that they had with me about, hey, how are y'all doing 15 months in? You've
Mm.
kind of like passed the postpartum, like, where are y'all
Mm.
with, school? Like, what are how's your heart? How,
Mhm.
are y'all getting out? Are y'all dating? Like,
Mm.
how are y'all connecting? And
Mhm.
so it really opened up, like inviting them into my mess. Not that
Mhm.
that's technically a mess, but chaos maybe. Um,
Right.
opened the door for some pretty intimate conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's just an isolated event.
Mm-mm.
I think that when you open yourselves up for um, just like showcasing, like, this is truly who I am, this is my authentic, vulnerable self, that opens the door for others to feel comfortable being raw and intimate themselves with
Absolutely.
you. And I tell a story in the Living Table, my cookbook, about I lived in an apartment. I was like 28. And when my friends would come over, they would always ask for coasters. And I did not have like nice furniture. It was all like thrifted and
Mm.
maybe had like some side tables from Walmart. Like it was just cheap, I was in an apartment. And but I started to realize that when my house was kind of messy, or like the pillows were on the floor when they walked in, or dishes were in the sink, they never asked for a coaster.
Mm.
And I was like, that's because they felt comfortable. Like this
Right.
was like their home,
Right.
But when everything looks prim and proper, when
Right.
all the lines are clean and straight, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't mess anything up. It's like
Right.
I'm a kid in a china shop. And it's like, No, you're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
This
that's
should be your home too.
right. That's so good. Yeah, so I'm a pastor's wife, and goodness, it was probably about 15 or 16 years ago that I was still like, if someone called and they were like, I'm going to drop something off, it would be like, okay, like the
Yeah.
alarms go off, the siren goes off, it's preparation mode, dishes
Yeah.
have to be done, kitchen has to be clean, like laundry has to be out of sight, like just make the house look like no one lives here. That's our goal. And
Yeah.
at a certain point, I really felt like the Holy Spirit convicted me, was like, okay, just what you said. Like they need to see that you're real. They need
Yeah.
to see that you have laundry and you have dishes. And
Yeah.
I mean, and really, who gave us the idea that we could only have people over to our homes if we made our homes look like they were model homes where no one lived? Right? It's
Right.
kind of silly
Yeah.
in a way, right?
Yeah.
Nope, sorry, I live here. I've got stuff.
Yeah.
It's on
I
counters.
watched the documentary of Martha Stewart on
Okay.
Netflix or something.
Uh-huh.
And she has a quote about entertaining, and I wish I could like verbatim write it. Like
Hmm.
behind the scenes, after you've written a book and you're like it's in production
Uh,
and like on the shelves, like you've forgotten half of like
uh-huh.
the actual words that are written in the book.
Yep.
But she has a quote about entertaining, and she goes into it in the documentary about like lives her life at such a high standard of perfection
Mm.
that she walked through depression for a time in her life and did not have really good relationships with people because of the perfection that she placed on herself.
Right.
And what I think is fascinating about that is when we talk about hospitality, 9 times out of 10, people are like Martha Stewart.
Right. Absolutely.
And if you really dove into who Martha Stewart was, I'm
Mhm.
not saying she's a bad person, but if you dove into and got deeper into like her heart,
Mhm.
I think that you would find that when you focus on entertaining and not
Right.
true the heart of biblical hospitality, you're going to miss something. You're going to miss
Right.
that love, that community, that fulfilling
Right.
blessedness that you get from
Yeah.
authentically opening your
Yeah.
home and inviting people in,
Right.
mess and all.
Well, because entertaining is about me. I
Yeah.
mean, and I've, so I have 4 kids, and I was actually joking the other day, like I am a birthday party failure now, but like my oldest two, oh goodness. I mean, every like food was themed with
Oh
the
my
theme of the
gosh.
party,
I love
and
it.
little like everyone knew what the pretzels were, but they didn't know they were Luke's lightsaber pretzels, or whatever the like theme was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so much stress and so much perfection. And it's like my children have no recollection of these things. We've got a
Yeah.
lot of pictures, but it was all about me. I
Yeah.
wanted people to think, "Oh wow, Heather's so clever. Heather throws great parties, right?" But that's not hospitality. Like
Yeah.
hospitality isn't all about me. It should be loving others well, and that should take the pressure off of me to do things
Oh,
perfectly.
for sure. Oh, for sure. Just those lies, right? The lies of perfection. I mean, even when you're talking about like body image, that lie of perfection, I mean, it will sabotage.
Right.
I'm not talking about like ministry because you're a pastor's wife, but like your ministry in your life.
Right?
Like the people you come into contact with, if you are constantly battling insecurities and these lies that the enemy's going to tell you that you're not good enough,
Right.
guess what, sis? Scripture tells us we're not good enough. We are
Right.
weak, but he makes us strong. Like,
Right.
I mean, he is in us making us like, so I rely on that so heavily when I look
Mhm.
at my home and I'm like, gosh, it's such a wreck, you
Mhm.
know? And it's like, but it's
Yeah.
okay because guess what? This means that I am living in a love-filled
Mm.
home.
Yeah. And I love that. And we can tie that directly to body image too, right?
Yeah.
Because, like we talked about, like having a perfect home is a barrier, right? People come
Hmm.
over and they feel like they have to treat you a certain way with coasters and all the things. Like, we all think we want to have a perfect body or a perfect look or a perfect image, but like, that actually would isolate us from people even more. I
Yeah.
mean, and honestly, like we think we want that because we think people would love us, but people just actually hate on people
Yeah.
that they think are perfect, right? So it would just make a bigger gap from what we really want, which is just to be in community,
Yeah.
be in relationship, be loved. right? And so there's that connection between our homes and our images. But then there's also the connection of when you are willing just to be a vessel to be used to
Mm,
love others, that takes the pressure off of your appearance and
that's
meeting your
so
own
good.
standards and the world standards, right? And I think the same applies to hospitality. Take
Yeah.
the pressure off. Just make your home, make your time like a vessel
Yeah.
for just loving others well, inviting them in.
Yeah.
Like I think
When
there's
you're
so many connections there. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
when you're not looking for approval,
Right.
but you're looking for just the ability and the opportunity to love others and to express who God is. I mean, the world is your oyster. Like, God's going to open up so many opportunities for you to. I mean, just yesterday I was eating brunch somewhere and I saw a gal that I was really good friends with 5 or 6 years ago. And we just kind of fell out. We fell into different friend groups and just we went different ways. And, I view my days as opportunities. Like, what's my purpose for today, God? Like, who are you placing in front of my life to like put on my heart to show hospitality to or to love better so that they can experience you more? And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to her in like 2.5 years.
Mm.
And just thought, I should probably invite her over for coffee. Lord knows what we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
But it just was like that opportunity that if I were too consumed with, oh my gosh, I don't know if I hurt her feelings 2 years ago. I don't know what happened. Like she probably doesn't like me anymore. Like she probably has too many friends or she's not going to have enough time. That would keep me from experiencing God in a new way
Right.
or experiencing what he's going to do through me for her,
Right.
which is
Right.
so cool. Like, I
Yeah.
love that word vessel. Like, if we allow ourselves to be used as a vessel, man, the possibilities are endless. But
Absolutely. And that's where we find joy too, right?
yeah,
Like otherwise,
yeah.
like we think we're going to find joy when we pull off the perfect event or
Hmm.
we pull off the perfect look. Like then I'll be happy. Then I'll be, and it's not.
Yeah.
The joy comes from serving, from pouring out, from doing what he's
Yeah.
called us to do.
And I
So,
think that obsession with perfection, whether it's like perfect body or your perfect party or whatever, keeps us like inward
mhm,
focused, right?
right,
And not like kingdom focused.
right.
And we need to be laser focused on how we can impact the kingdom every single day.
I love it. I love it, Abby. Okay. You have this awesome brand new book. You mentioned it
Yeah.
once. Let the Biscuits Burn,
Yeah.
Cultivating Real Life Hospitality in a World Craving
Craving
Connection.
connection.
It's a fantastic book. Um, just tell everyone, like maybe, if we were talked about like that it's about hospitality. Anything
Yeah.
else about it that we need to know?
Yeah, well, hey, there's some AI tips in it, so get
Oh,
excited.
awesome.
No, but I really dive into those excuses. I mean, we've
Mm,
talked about several of them, but I dive into some excuses, but I also dive into some practicality about hospitality that we might not think about, like emotional and physical boundaries. And how do you set those in hospitality? Because it doesn't just mean that your door's always open and that anyone and everyone can come in and use up Heather.
mhm, mhm.
Like it does. I mean, when you look at Jesus and his ministry, like he isolated himself and got rejuvenated and spent time with God. And so I think that it's the same for us. We
Yeah.
need to set those boundaries. So I talk about that. I also talk about the art of the conversation and the invitation and how to have really great conversation, how to prepare your heart for that, but also how to invite people over and what that invitation actually means for the kingdom. And so that's super, super fun to dive into because while I love diving into kind of the spiritual discipline of it, I think that there are a lot of steps that we don't that aren't necessarily talked about
Mm.
when we talk about kind of the practicality
Yeah.
of how do you do this
Yeah.
that I kind of dive into. And then there is a hosting handbook in the back
Okay.
that is fun that just has like some tips and tricks. It has like my shopping list of like things I always keep in my pantry, some quick wins when it comes to the kitchen, but also it has some great like conversation starter kits that if you need actual physical help, you can go shop and go buy these. So
Yeah.
just some things that have helped me throughout the years kind of practice hospitality. And then I got to record my own audiobook, which is super
Awesome.
fun. So if this is something that, like people aren't, hey, I'd love to have your book, but I'd also love to hear you or hear the book read to me. I might
Yeah.
get through it a little bit faster. That option is there as well. So,
I love that. And yeah, let me just kind of back you up on that conversation starter thing. My husband and I have noticed that when we do host or even, go to a dinner party where, maybe it's like 10 or so people, five couples going out to dinner, when we bring some sort of conversation starter, some questions, like the conversation is so much richer. It goes so much deeper because people just aren't used to people asking them about themselves
yeah.
in a rich, deep way.
Yeah.
And they're just touched to be able to share. They're touched
Yeah.
that someone asked them that. So I love that aspect of it. Like I got through most of the book last night. I think it's fantastic. It's super fun. It's just a great read. So I highly recommend Let the Biscuits Burn.
Kind of
And
ironic for a cookbook author, right?
no, it's awesome. I love it. Well, I was on a Netflix. I was on Netflix's Nailed It.
Yeah.
I'm first season, so like, yeah, fake fails are all about. I'm all about that.
I love it. I love
So,
it.
Abby, tell everyone where they can connect with you.
Yeah, I'm over on Instagram, abby.kirkendall. So that's KUYKENDALL. And I'm also abbykirkendall.com. And I occasionally pin some things on Pinterest, but have a podcast called Let the Biscuits Burn where we talk about stuff like this. It's not necessarily about hospitality, but it's about how we need to throw off perfection in every area of our life, not necessarily just in hospitality, but that theme runs true in a lot of our life. So,
That's what this show's about.
yep,
So love it. Well, Abby, thanks so much for being on the show today.
for sure. Bye, Heather.
And thank you for watching or listening today. I hope something today has helped you stop comparing and start living. Bye bye.